What is up, everybody? Welcome to Comic Book Club. I'm Alex.
I'm Justin.
I'm Pete.
And we are coming to you live from a couple of places on the internet. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. Maybe you're listening later, wherever you get your podcasts. It's all good. And I'll tell you what, we're going to have a little bit of a special episode maybe tonight. I guess we'll see what happens.
Every episode is special, Alex, no matter what happens.
Oh, that's very true. Well, our guests are not here yet. So we are going to start. We're going to start talking about some stuff. And I think what we're going to do is there's a critically acclaimed, award-winning podcast that we produce as part of the Comic Book Club network of shows.
Yes, of course.
Critically acclaimed?
Critically acclaimed. Called Comic Book Club News.
It's critically claimed.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
I work sometimes as a TV critic, and I claimed it. It's mine.
Wow. Yeah. All of TV is yours?
That's not what I'm saying. Anyway, we figured what we could do. Hopefully our guests are going to show up at some point. And if they don't, I'll give a little plug here. You can check out Luke Arnold and Chris Wyatt's Essentials from the Lab Press. It comes out tomorrow on stands, and I'll tell you what, I'll say this if they do show up as well. It's awesome.
It is very good.
Great graphic novel.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'll say more about it later if they do show up. But for the moment, we figured we can, in a crossover with Comic Book Club News, do some news items about comic books here on the podcast. And I want to start it off. Pete wants to start it off with a comic book news item. Here we go, Pete.
No, I just had a question for Justin. Earlier, I don't know if you noticed, Alex, he was showing off his hat. I was like, are you just pro-dragon? Is that what that hat says?
It says deacon.
Oh, deacon. Oh, okay. That makes less sense. What does that mean?
Just being dragon. This is when I was working on a television program called 101 Places to Party Before You Die.
Oh, I remember that. I love that show.
Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's on Max still, hosted by Adam Pally, John Gabers. You will spot me multiple times throughout the season, but
yeah, you will.
We went to in Richmond, Virginia. There's a very famous sort of like the guy who owns this like religious supply store, and he's like the mayor of this neighborhood.
Would you say he's the deacon of it?
Well, they had these bunch of random stuff for sale, and you could buy hats. Deacon, my wife's dad's nickname was Deacon his whole life.
Oh, wow.
So I bought the Deacon hat, and I'm hitting
You because I thought we were doing like, hey, repping nerdy stuff, and you pointed the hat, and I thought maybe I didn't get the ref.
Yeah. Deacon Brody, isn't he the guy from the villain from Blade? What's his name?
Deacon Frost?
Deacon
Frost.
Yeah. I had as soon as you showed up Deacon, I was like, Deacon Frost. No, I can't say that. I don't remember where it's from.
Look at us. Wow. Look at us. We're two puzzle pieces for a dumb puzzle.
Hey, that's not a dumb puzzle. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
So listen, we got to get to these news items. These are some big breaking news items. And
okay.
I do want to start off with one that actually is not one that I would cover on Comic Book Club News at all, because it is a TV topic. This came out just before we went live on the show. Disney every month sends out their nuons, which is their list of like their streaming schedule for the month. So they sent out the stuff for March, and they sent out the first 4-week schedule for Daredevil Born Again. Ooh. We're kicking it off. It's going to be Tuesday nights. This is a weird counter programming.
What?
I know. Tuesday nights, so we're canceling the show starting on March 4th. First,
makes sense. Yeah.
It is going to be on after our show. It's going to be on at 9 p.m.
Okay,
ET,
so we can
plenty of time.
We're not. Prep.
Yeah, we can prep exactly. We can get like go just for like an hour.
Call Charlie Cox, be like, "You ready, dog?"
That's what you think.
Like,
prep
I'm
is?
ready, bro. I'm getting Vincent in here.
Wait.
Vincent, and he's like, "I'm in here too."
Wait, you think prep is just yelling before something starts? That's what you think prep is?
Yeah. Yo, guys, get Debbie on the phone. Hi, I'm Deborah Ann Wall.
Wow.
That's my impression.
Wow. Really good, Debbie.
Thank you. Debbie. Pete, you got to be able to do an Eldon Henson. You're the original Foggy.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That's not a compliment. Just it's never
it
a
is
compliment.
to me, dude.
Anyway, so
Foggy is the staple that holds Daredevil together.
Here's the deal with the schedule. So they're going to do a 2-episode premiere on March 4th. Cool. Totally normal so far.
No, that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. Then the week after that, they're going to do one episode. Again, makes sense.
Great.
Week after that, one episode. Totally making sense so far, right?
So why
That's
even bring it up?
March-
why
March-
even bring it up if it makes sense?
March 25th, as normal, there's going to be 2 episodes. What?
Back
Double.
Yeah, so episode 5 and 6 are going to both premiere together the 4th week of the show.
it's
We
a
don't know what's going to
two-parter, I
happen
guess.
beyond that in April. There's 3 episodes left. It's a 9-episode season. Main reason I thought it struck me as weird beyond you don't normally have schedules like that is we were talking a lot about the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man schedule, which is
it's
coming out in
weird.
chunks of 2 episodes, 3 episodes, 3 episodes, 2 episodes. I think we talked about like there's a bunch of different possibilities that could raise some alarm bells there in terms of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. What do we feel about this Daredevil schedule? Any worries here?
That feels more deliberate. We know this is a bigger sort of chip in the Marvel ongoing project. Something they shot, canceled, and then reshot everything, which is something you're invested in, guess you could say. So what I would guess is this is going to be a special 2-episode event that they're trying to
that's what I was
maybe make
thinking.
a little bit more special, almost like a big movie length situation.
Ooh, cool. Or
And
maybe it's
that
one
means it's
giant long fight sequence. You know what I mean? 2 episodes long.
Ooh, it's going to be like Hallway Part 1, Hallway Part 2.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Exactly. The longest hallway. It's going to be like turn a corner. You know what I mean?
Oh,
The
man.
surprise.
I have
The
not
only
seen that.
The only surprise a hallway can give you is a corner. Man,
No, there's trapdoors, bro. What are you talking about?
Trapdoors?
Hallway,
Where do you work?
Dude, come on, man. Hallway's got more surprises than you think, bro.
Yeah.
Always.
I
He's
did
always
see
in pro-hallway.
there was some speculation from one of our listeners, David McKay, threw out at me online saying that they're trying to get it out of the way by April 15th before Andor is on April 22nd, which kind of makes sense to me. The thing that I don't understand about that at all is like, there is nothing wrong with having the finale of Daredevil and the premiere of Andor on the same day.
It's a great day.
I don't understand this thinking. This is like brain broken thinking. And I understand why HBO does it because they are on television where you don't press play on it. You watch it at your home. Disney Plus is not that. So they can have multiple things airing. And I feel like they're just using the HBO model when they do not have to. Double shit up because that's exciting. I'm going to the app. If I don't normally go to Disney Plus and I'm going there to watch Andor and I see Daredevil, I'm like, oh, sick. I also like that.
100%. And that's kind of the
sick.
whole goal of streaming platforms is they want to reduce something called churn, which is exactly kind of what it sounds like, which is people clicking in, watching one episode of Daredevil, and then not going back into Disney Plus the entire week, which is why Netflix is like, here's 45 shows every single day. So there's always something new that you could be watching. You don't have enough time to watch it. So you cross over and you're like, oh no, I just finished the season of Stranger Things. Now there's a new season of Bridgerton on, and I got to watch this other season of this other thing. So I don't know. It's weird. I do hope it is a 2-episode event. That would be pretty cool, but I guess we'll see.
Schweikler makes a good point. Maybe the episode after the 2-part is needs to be on April 1st.
Oh, like it's a funny episode.
Shoiks.
A fool's episode.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, is there any Marvel character who is funnier than Daredevil? I don't
Yeah, he's a goof. That guy's a goof. Nothing else.
Well, all right. So talked about that. Let's get to some comic book news items that I thought were pretty interesting today. One, Pete, I feel like you'll be a fan of this one. Dynamite announced sometime this summer they're publishing a new comic book series, which is going to cross over Harley Quinn and Elvira
Oh, wow.
written by Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun on fun on fun.
Yes.
It's great.
They are a great combo.
Yeah.
This is a perfect over the plate for Jimmy Palmiotti, a man who used to post pictures of women he thought were hot on a daily on the daily.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about that. I think they did a good job on Harley Quinn, so I think that'll be fun. That feels like a natural fit. And whenever we've read those Elvira comics from Dynamite, they're actually pretty good.
Yes, they are good.
Yeah.
because they honor the character, a character that we only know as sort of like a spooky host, basically. But they've been able to sort of dive in and get more world around her in a nice way, I feel like.
Yeah. Here, you guys talk about something else for a second. I'm going to take care of some stuff with the
Hey,
guests.
no problem. Hey, Justin, how you doing, man?
Great. I'm in a new location.
Yeah,
my
where are you?
I'm at my house, but just in a different area.
Oh,
Weird, right?
oh, wow. New
Yeah.
part of the house. We've
I live
unlocked a new room. This is exciting. Sick.
Yeah, no, it is really exciting. It's like in Sims when you unlock a new room. That's
Yeah.
Pete, let me ask you. We haven't unlocked a new room in your background. A lot of people have been really playing around with the trying to unlock the secret quiz.
Yeah.
Can you give us any update on that? Are people getting closer?
Yeah, I mean, last time Shoix was just one word away. I guess I could do another...
One word away. Wow.
Or one name away, I should say. He had Bruce Lee, which is the other part. Oh, we got it.
Oh, we got one of our guests here. Hold on. Going to bring him in. Enough of your blather, guys. Here we go.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doc Wyatt. Doc,
Hey,
welcome.
welcome.
How's it going, gentlemen?
How you doing?
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks so much for coming. Sorry, I heard there was a little mix-up at the times, but we appreciate having you here. You missed it earlier. We gave you big ups on the book. Essentials, it is out tomorrow, as I mentioned, from Lab Press, wrote up Luke Arnold, and you have a murderer's row of artists working on it. Glenn Fabry, Jason Howard, Vince Locke, Brenda McCarthy, Andrea Moody, M.K. Perker, Danny, and on covers, Bill Sienkiewicz, which is crazy.
Awesome.
Let's talk about this project now that we have you in here and not to make you jump into it immediately and start talking about the thing.
That's good.
But I love the idea here. There's so many things going on. I was getting ready to give you the concept, but like there's a little bit of a feint at the beginning of the book in terms of what it actually is.
Yeah.
So what do you want to pitch about it? Like what is the pitch?
Well,
that you're
there
giving
is
to
a
the
little
thing?
bit of feint at the beginning, but I think that all the summaries of the book give it away anyway. But yeah, we start thinking with the great Vincent Locke doing some awesome zombie interior art. We think we're in a world in a sort of post-zombie apocalypse world with some survivors, and then we come to find out that no, that's not even close to what's happening. What's happening is our Earth, our dimension, has collided with a higher dimension, and almost all the humans were instantly ripped into that higher dimension. Those that have survived are in fact existing in these pockets of subjective reality. Their realities sort of pulled out of their own brains.
Oh my God!
Kind of like it's almost like a living dream, except for it is the reality of this place. Meaning that it's not a dream, it's not a fantasy. If something happens in there, it happens because it is the actual constructed local reality. Yeah. And we've got a scientist, a sort of rogue scientist named Harris Pax, who's sort of the leader. It's sort of our main character who saw this coming and was able to create a suit that is an anti-subjectivity suit that lets him pass into these subjective realities and maintain his objective reality within them. And so that's sort of the premise. He has got to travel through these different subjective realities and try to bring people back into the objective world.
And I just want to mention, you are dealing with some very big, very heady, very lofty ideas here. For anybody who's interested in check this up, there's also zombies, there's monsters, there's action throughout, some great humor, some great heart. You got a little bit of everything. But what I wanted to ask you about first, since you did lay out the whole premise there, is you got, like I said, these incredible artists on the book, and as you jump into these different realities, you get a different art style on every single one.
Yeah.
Where did that idea come from? Was that a utility-based thing in terms of getting people for certain pages, and that led to the story? Did the story lead to that? How did that come about?
No, it started from a story perspective. Like we very much wanted to investigate this idea I mean, we live in a world really where.
Sorry to interrupt. Just want to say hello, Luke Arnold. Sorry if I were sitting there for welcome as well.
Only a moment. Huge apologies on my side. I'm in the jet-lagged post-flight from Australia mode and completely mixed up my coast in America. So thought I had a few more hours on my hands.
No problem.
But thank you so much for having us.
We usually broadcast on Australian time, so it's all good. All right. Doc, you were talking about the art, though. I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, it was creative-led. We very much wanted to explore the idea of different subjective realities, and we were meeting about it, talking about it, and it struck us that by the way, Luke, who's in Australia, and I'm in Los Angeles, we would have our story sessions in virtual reality. We used our virtual reality headsets and met in a kind of a workspace in VR.
Oh,
And
wow.
so we were very much in a constructed reality as we were talking about constructing these different realities.
Whoa.
And we wanted to, it sort of hit on this notion. We wanted the realities to look very, very different so that they could seem like they were from the perspective of what we call the dreamers, meaning the people inside the realities whose brains are generating them. And it occurred to us, hey, like, what if they look so different because it's a different artist for every reality? But we didn't think our publisher, of course, would go for it, because managing that kind of a process seems like really draining and really not worth it, from a public perspective. But we pitched it to the lab, and those idiots were crazy enough to do it.
Nice.
So it of course afforded the nice side benefit of being able to work with all these different wonderful artists who have these very different styles, and who normally their styles would not necessarily dovetail together in a single narrative, but because of the device we're using, we were able to really kind of combine some really awesome visions into one story.
Now, let me ask you, the premise behind the book feels very much like we were on an ayahuasca trip together and came up with this. So can you tell us what, like, the realities within realities and the subjective or subjective, how did you guys land here when you first started working on it?
Yeah, it began. I think it's a tale we've heard so many times now, but I think maybe the fact that we were devising this in COVID had a little bit to do with it. A little bit of that feeling like
I'm trapped in a reality I don't like. Yeah.
And that everyone is in their own, and that you feel like feeling that schism that happens when you're like, not only does it feel like, oh, we have different points of view, but when you start going like, I feel like some people are living in completely different worlds, and also how hard it is, like that kind of struggle of go, what do you do when you want to try and bring someone back to at least what you think is the real world, and the kind of danger in that, and the anger that comes with that, and all those things. So I think we kind of had some of the initial idea already. It started with a guy in a bunker, and it began this very kind of contained story that you see in kind of the second chapter of someone in a bunker thinking the world has crumbled outside, not sure if they're going mad or if the things that they're experiencing are real. And then I think it was probably a bit of the feeling of those feelings in COVID and things that were happening to the world that made us think about, like, what if this interdimensional disaster has untethered reality in this way, so that people's subjective realities are manifesting truly around them, and what that would create. So it kind of came up from there. And then once we had that idea and we really could just sit around and go, well, what if this was a reality? What if that was a reality? And try and find things that each one would explore something that we found was interesting internally for the character, that we thought was an interesting challenge for our kind of protagonists, to a world that would be interesting for them to enter into as a kind of psychologically philosophical sense, but also just like, what do you want to throw on the page? What's the funnest thing to throw out there? What gauntlet can we throw down to these artists and see what they come up with?
That's awesome. I mean, he does say Gulf of Mexico on the page we're seeing now, which is obviously out of date. So
the book is now from a different reality.
And I want to be in that one.
Yeah, it's a better one. It's a better one.
Just one last thing before we. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, I feel like a lot of, like you're saying, working in COVID was such a thing. Most people are just like, this is in COVID because it takes place on this couch. you guys actually absorbed the situation, it feels like, and the ongoing experience of that. Like, where I feel like we all haven't quite touched our realities back together in some ways.
Yeah, I mean that is very much what we were thinking about. Like the idea, like we all know. Look, there's objective reality, right? Like there's absolute truth, like that the Earth is round, and you can be someone who disagrees. You can be a flat earther, but whether you believe it or you don't believe it, the Earth is round. Then there's the subjective reality of like tuna is good versus tuna tastes terrible, and that's subjective. That's to you locally. But the truth is that we all, and it seems very clear what's objective and what's subjective. But it turns out, and I think like everything from politics to international relations to everything is kind of teaching us that the line between what is objectively true and what is subjectively true is confusing, and it blurs lines. I mean, things like that the body of water, north of Mexico and south of Louisiana has the name the Gulf of Mexico versus the name the Gulf of America is like, at a certain sense, we think of place names as it's just objectively true that it's called this. But then it turns out that it's not. It's an intersubjective reality where enough people have subjectively believed that it's true that it seems objectively true. And so that sort of, we wanted that to be the playground. Like what it's easy to say, no, this is true, no, this is true. It's a little bit harder to recognize it when truth bifurcates like that.
This is like a manual to live in the world right now, essentially.
Well, it's an exploration of the world. I don't know if
it's essential reading is what it is.
Ding. One of the challenges I imagine you were facing narratively, and we touched on this a little bit before, but as our main mathematician character and the character that he ultimately befriends are going to these different realities, they all have their own emotional challenges, which I found really fascinating. Like, we start off in a big way in this first one with the zombie apocalypse thing, which almost has its own emotional thread and own emotional thing going around it. And that's the same is true for each and every single one of them. Where did those come from? Did those come from our main character outwards, or did you start with these pockets and then figure out how to tie it all in?
I think sometimes we had so many ideas for realities. That was one of the early fun things that Doc and I were talking about. And when we were talking to the people at the lab, there was that early kind of big explosion of ideas and where we could go. And a lot of them got written into some early drafts. And a lot of them really did come from each one, the fun of starting in that subjective dreamer and go, what are the things actually in life that can take us out of reality? What things happen to us that make us either choose to step out, maybe to kind of protect our psyche from a traumatic event, or where we feel like, often what happens where people double down on something, and that sometimes happens when you get pushed in a certain direction and people push back and you decide to go dig further into your trench. So we had lots of ideas that we thought were the most kind of, interesting and things that could happen visually. But then what we had to bring it down to was really what's the best challenge for Harris. So we have, kind of our two protagonists, really. We've got, Harris Pax, who's a scientist who's very committed to objective reality, has a very scientific mind. We also have him teaming up with someone who's experiencing corporeal life for the first time. And so out of all the, plethora of options we had, it would then come down to what is the most interesting challenge to put them in and what would challenge their ideas. And I think, you want to kind of put Harris's ideas. He's very committed to survival. And I think even when we see him before this cataclysmic event happened, he's someone who's kind of choosing survival and like doing the right thing over maybe living his life to the fullest. So then it's the fun thing of going, okay, what are the interesting, either you want to throw up people that he can maybe see a bit of himself in, who we can get a new perspective on, or people who maybe start breaking him open to a different way of being.
If you were going to be trapped in a reality, not necessarily for the book, but like your own reality, what genre or what kind of thing would you be trapped in, do you think?
Look, if it, so I think the fun thing about this, and we have to keep reminding ourselves writing the book that none of them, they weren't willing these worlds into existence. This was the way they saw the world coming to life. So I think for me, it would probably be a very narrative driven world. I think it's a thing. I'm trying to work. It definitely serves me in my job, but I realize that I narrativize things very quickly. I don't know if you guys know that feeling when people can be telling you a story and things in your life, and you're already trying to tie it up in a bow. So I think it would be a very story-driven reality that I would end up in, where things, the world would be trying to find narrative sense and satisfaction at all times.
So not pirates is your answer. Doc, what about you?
Oh, I would definitely do a reality where mass transit was water slides and you water slid.
Yes. Yes, the tube technology. Let's do it.
That's inherent to you. Yes. That's the natural.
You know, in this reality, everything's always downhill. So you could water slide to work, then water slide from work. You know,
the dream.
That's the dream.
Amazing.
What about P. Alex? Your realities?
I mean, water slides is the money answer. I don't know if I can.
I was gonna say that's weird that you have the same answer.
Yeah.
I'm
You guys
also
have a
water
brother.
slides, I guess.
Well, really? Wow.
Yeah, we're all water slides. This is, I believe, the first book out of Lab Press, right? So, I mean, this might be more for like the publishing end of things, but what drew you to Lab Press? What are they bringing to the table? What can you tell us about working with them?
Well, we've actually known the team behind, because Luke and I worked in film and television. We've actually worked with the team behind the Lab Press on different projects outside of comics. And so when they decided they were forming as a publishing company, which is, you know, I mean, in this publishing environment, to form a new publishing company means to be very brave people.
Talking about constructing a reality.
Yeah.
We were extremely interested. I mean, we love that team. We love what they do. We love how brave they are. And, you know, it is a little nerve-wracking to be the first project from a new publisher, but it also
cool, though.
a great opportunity. I mean, first in the door. So.
And it's maybe we were blessed with some of that early naivety and energy they had with, you know, giving us all these artists to work with. But that was kind of, if that's the first sign of the company they're going to be, that was like very exciting to be a part of. That nothing has ever felt like we'd come out with some wild ideas in this book and our plans to kind of continue the series, and nothing has ever been a blanket no. They've always been excited about kind of what we could do next, how we could play with the form, you know, and seeing that happen across the other books they've got coming out in this first slate of books, the kind of things they're choosing, and the way that they are I think in a very good way, a very hands-on publisher, where while like at every step of the way they want to get involved and, you know, never to kind of like get in the way of anything, but to always make sure like we're actually getting the most out of the story. And if there's any point where they're like, think we could do more with this, you know, and they're the kind of notes we get from them, and that's kind of what you want.
And I'll just mention also for anybody listening, this is not just a monthly comic. This is a 180-page full-color graphic novel. So that's even beyond what we're talking about in terms of like, yeah, we're going to put up a monthly comic, kind of see what happens. We have 20 pages there. This is like a whole thing.
Going big swing.
Yeah.
They're focusing on the original graphic novel format. They're not actually, the Lab Press doesn't have a slate of monthly comics in plans. They just have sort of big swings, OGNs. They are very interested in sort of complete stories and completing stories in big chunks of narrative. And I mean, I dig that. I still go to my weekly shop. I still get my monthlies. But sometimes they'll stack up and I'll Netflix model my comics reading. And in a way, that's what this is. You know, it's giving you a big chunk of story at once that you can tear into.
Well, speaking of complete stories, though, this is, I guess, very slight spoiler. This is end of book 1 at the end of this. So you guys have some other chunks coming. Can you give us sort of the big scope?
Yeah, it's 3 books in total, the story. And there haven't been any announcements, I guess, officially, but I guess it would be, am I going to get in trouble? But I guess, I don't know.
We don't want to get you,
No, I would like to get you in trouble, actually.
In trouble.
But
no, man.
I think it is.
I gotta look out for my boy.
Yeah.
I don't want him to get in trouble.
Your water slide brother.
Yeah.
I think if we make this a non-official announcement, but for anyone who does, you read the first one, as you said, you know that this is book one. There is a plan to continue. We've been planning a trilogy, and definitely, lots is in the works. So, I think, there's nothing to worry about in the fact that this won't be continued and seen through. But as far as there's there will be some exciting announcements about how this evolves. Definitely, we have plans to keep a similar kind of style of bringing in different artists as we go.
Yeah.
So, I guess maybe something probably relies on the fact that people get out and read this first one. But we're definitely we are creatively moving forward and hoping to see this through to the end.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because definitely when I got to the end of the book, I was like, you cannot leave me here.
Yeah. That's what felt especially strong. And with a lot of potential. A lot of potential for further exploration in form and format, I guess.
Yeah, I think definitely one of those things that we kind of touched on before. The only kind of teaser I can say is that when we talk about that idea before of the kind of subjective, objective, super objective realities, that idea of how certain people can start influencing that intersubjectivity is we really start playing with that, and I think that's when things get really wild. So that's something to look forward to. Yeah.
Now, I should have mentioned this earlier, but just before we start to wrap things up here, I did want to mention every week on the show, we have a professional chef down in New Orleans. This is true, named Brett Macris. He runs a restaurant called Shift there. He either curates or creates a cocktail for us. And this week he created a cocktail called This Cocktail is Essential, which is absinthe, rye whiskey, Amaro, Cynar, I'm definitely mispronouncing that, Cynar, orange bitters, lemon juice, and lemon peel. It's 7 ingredients for 7 different realities. Wow. Is how we put it together. So there you go. Were you
That'll
drinking one,
change
Justin,
your reality. That's for sure.
I was not. I do not. Yeah, exactly. I don't have absinthe currently.
He legally can't say that on a podcast. He's got it. He's got it.
Feels especially accurate for the book. So
yeah, definitely. I'll have to mix one of them up afterwards now that as I get over my jet lag. So that'll help.
Perfect.
There you go. Well, love the book. Before we let you guys go, obviously this is the big thing coming out tomorrow, but is there anything else you want to plug? Anything else folks should check out from you? Luke, you have anything?
Really Essentials is a big thing to get out. We're doing some signings around LA over the next week or so we'd love to see people there. And if people do like my writing on my own, I have a series of detective fantasy novels called the Fetch Phillips Archives. The 4th one in that series is coming out in April, so you've got time to catch up on the first 3 if you like a bit of kind of hard-boiled noir mixed with some dystopian fantasy.
Oh, nice.
And Doc?
I'm one of the head writers of a animated series on Netflix and also concurrently on Peacock called Lego Ninjago Dragons Rising.
Yes.
New season. All right. We got a new season coming out in April. That'll be our the first drop for our season 3 in April. So check that out. And then, like Luke says, we're going to be doing some signings around LA while he's in town, while he's on the continent. So we'll be at Golden Apple Saturday at 2. So if you're in Los Angeles, drop by Golden Apple. Everybody knows that shop. And we'll be there with Bill Sienkiewicz, our cover artist.
Oh, wow.
Legendary.
Cool.
So
Wow.
Him, if not to meet me and Luke.
Yeah, cool.
Nice. And you'll be hanging out in that backyard for at least a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm here for the rest of the evening, but then later, Golden Apple.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much. Congrats on the book. It's fantastic.
Awesome.
And I'm really looking forward to volume 2 whenever that comes. Have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. There we go. Once again, that was Chris, Doc, Wyatt, and Luke Arnold. The book is called Essentials. It's out tomorrow from Lab Press, and it is great. It's really good.
Oh, man.
We didn't even really talk about too much the Jason Howard art throughout. Love Jason Howard, one of my favorites. So really, really good, really beautiful book. Definitely pick it up. And now we are going to move to our next section, which is my favorite section because you all make it up. It is your audience questions. And for audience questions, all you got to do is drop a question in the comments. We had a couple from earlier, so probably try to scroll back. But before we do that, scroll back. Pete, you're drinking a garage beer, I assume.
That's right. I don't have a garage, but I got the beer.
Great line.
I've slipped into a Genesee Springbok. Genesee.
You know,
yeah.
It's not spring, but you've got a Springbok. That's what you got to say, right?
Oh, man.
Yes, that's the catchphrase. But Genesee beer, it's what your uncle drank before he died.
Oh, Jesus, man. That got dark at the end.
Very dark. This one's from Frederico Rosa. We were talking about Daredevil Born Again earlier. Are you guys rewatching the Daredevil show for the Born Again?
Well, let me say, I actually think we should.
I agree.
Because there's no way they're not going to pull directly out of that. And I hate to say it, we might have to do an Echo rewatch real quick.
Echo maybe less so.
There's no way they're not pulling out of...
No. I mean, they're pulling like the Mayor Fisk thing. They're going forward with that. But like, I don't know. Daredevil is a thing because that's been years at this point, and I only vaguely remember, like, remind me. So... Foggy sucks. I remember that. But otherwise, I don't remember any of the details.
You're lucky you're in another state, bro.
He had a crazy arc where he sucked at the beginning and then sucked at the end. So I don't know. Like,
Jesus Christ.
It's all right. I hear he's not in this much, so
you guys are the worst. I'm not excited about that. I think that's a mistake, a clear mistake on their part.
But I do think it's worth, especially... the last season, which I gotta say, I don't remember much about what happened. Mm-hmm. That whole show has sort of bled into one, in my mind. So definitely worth at least.
So much great stuff happened, dude.
And like honestly, there is some good stuff in there. Mm-hmm. There's great fights.
Yeah, amazing fight sequences. Some great acting. It's just the Electro was great. I mean, they did some really fun stuff in that show. I had a blast watching that show.
Yeah, I need to watch it again. It's been so many years, and streaming and TV has changed so much. I have no idea what my reaction would be to it at all.
I bet it actually holds up because it felt like it was the first of a thing, and then a lot of things happened, and I bet it maintains what it was doing.
Well,
because it had an old school TV feel, even as it was sort of kicking off a lot of
the Punisher was there. It was really cool, man.
That's what I was talking about.
He even had his own show, which I constantly forget about, but it's true.
Oh, dude.
First season of Punisher was great. Evan Moss Backrack, everybody loves him now, but he was Microchip on that show.
There were so many, all of it was great, all the seasons.
Yeah. Do you think he feels like he needs to go back and forth between playing the Thing and Microchip?
All the time. And whatever his character was on Andor, it's just all jumbled in his head with the bear and everything else. He's going to go on the Fantastic Four jug and be like, I'm going crazy.
Yeah. He's definitely, if he becomes Clayface, he's going to really have a problem. Just like Matt Hagen in the Batman the Animated Series episode.
There you go. Rodzilla wants to know, do you bag and board your comics or do you let them sit raw?
Come on.
Raw, baby. Let him live.
Dude. Bag and board all day. What are you talking about? You don't, as Stray Bullet said, raw dog your comics? That's gross.
No, that's a different thing.
Yeah, that's a different thing that I know Alex is constantly talking about on Reddit.
100%.
I have, since we've discussed this, I have no more piles. I've moved to boxes, but no bags and boards.
Oh, that's somehow worse.
Wow, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Their boxes are good.
Because, are you standing them up or are you putting them flat?
I know how boxes
Oh, but they're going to get so folded if you're standing them up with no bags.
They hold each other.
That is just awful at so many levels, man.
Do this. I cannot believe you do this.
The only way they fold up on each other is if you don't have a full box, and my boxes are full.
Oh, nice. Yeah, mine are everywhere. They're everywhere. All of those things. So.
That's like taking a shower and then working out and being like, "What? I showered." That doesn't make any sense. What you've done.
Wait, what are you saying?
You're doing it wrong. Is my point. Get the bag and boards and then put them in the box, and then you can relax and say I did something. Having them just squished into a box is just. I mean, you're killing me.
I can't believe you're saying this, Pete, when you only hit 295 out of your 600 calories on Move today.
Dude, don't fuck with me today, bro. Do not
Let's remind people why Alex knows how many steps Pete took today. Because Pete somehow. Will you say, Alex?
Well, no, we are friends on Apple Fitness, so I know Pete only took 3,665 feet.
I've been at work since I woke up, you fuck. I haven't even moved.
Disgusting.
I don't think you're
disgusting,
friends. I
Pete.
think you're enemies.
Also, don't check to see how many steps I walked today because it was not 528 like it says.
Yes, negative.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the robot's lying to you. Is that what you're saying?
I think
Pete,
so.
With all the bagging and boarding you've done, your testicles are 100% microplastics at this point. So
all right.
keep that in mind.
Okay. All right.
Prove it. Prove they're not.
Yeah, they're not.
Hartford 1988 says, did Pete not participate in the Captain America review to the other co-host too negative? Also, did Pete listen to it and then threaten to make your children fatherless?
Oh, man.
Well, there's no way Pete listened to it.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet. Unfortunately, I was babysitting this weekend, which I very much enjoy spending time with my brother's kids. They're awesome. But there are 3 kids, and I couldn't convince them, all 3 of them, to go see the movie, so I could be prepared to do a review.
Who's babysitting who in that case? You can't get them to go to the movies?
Oh, yeah? You tried to convince a 15-year-old girl to go see a fucking Captain America, bro, all right?
Does she not understand how cool
she doesn't want to do it, you know what I mean?
Wow. Uncle Pete. Man, I wish I was your nephew. Oh, I would kill to be your nephew. I would crush that family position.
Oh, man. It's all candy all day, bro. It's the fucking best.
Yeah, exactly. You're the easiest uncle to get to do anything, I bet.
Yeah.
That's
all I'm looking for is a sidekick, to cause trouble with.
Pete, this is a mild spoiler for the movie, which I know you haven't seen.
This is already negative enough that makes me very worried about going into the movie. I don't want any more than
put on earmuffs and eye muffs if you can for a second. All right, so Tom Radar says, thoughts on the leader toy designs being so different from his actual look in Cap 4. What do you think happened between the disconnect between merch and actual film? I hadn't seen this before, but I brought it up here. This is not going to be a joke. Hold on. Here we go.
This is real, you're saying.
This is happening. Here we go. So that's the leader. Oh my God, they're getting an echo from Pete's headphones and he's going crazy. That's the leader there. He has, like, for anybody listening, he has like a beard and a hair. There's the Funko Pop on the shirt. Same sort of thing. He's got a cool goatee and some hair and stuff.
Very strange.
Yes. Well, here, we'll stop sharing it.
Yeah,
Pete, Pete, you can come back. I don't know how he's going to hear us. He's just going to be doing that.
He's
for the rest
not. Look
of
at
the
him. This is someone screen crapped this. This is Pete's. This should be Pete's emoji.
Yeah,
forever.
you can come back. You can come back. What do you think happened, Justin?
I think they saw footage before they did the CGI, and no one.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, or the toys and stuff get designed very early on. Like, there's a really long life for this stuff. So it's possible they shot stuff that looked like that and then they changed it later. But I think more likely it was just, here's our concept designs of the leader. Go ahead, make these toys. And then it changed.
Well, and honestly, I prefer the toy designs to what they did.
100%.
Because nobody likes, it's not even a half measure what they did in the movie. It's just a sort of a strange nod that looks bad in all ways, I think.
Yes. Pete, you can let us know after you see it. Why don't we move on to Mega Therion says, what about the free digital thing? How many people use the Marvel codes? I would be very interested to know that, actually, because I think it's an interesting program, but it's a weird way it's rolled out. Anybody in the comments or anybody watching, let us know. Do you use the Marvel codes? I appreciate that they're there, but I don't know how useful they are necessarily.
Same. Real quick, Hartford 1988 on Twitch says, it looks like Justin if he was car sick. Shouts to that. Agree.
Yeah,
I should buy one. I can hold on to
Oh my God. You'd be like, this is me.
Yeah. Ding, I'm sick.
Lynn for the win 11 says, how often do you actually reopen your bagged and boarded comics to read again?
as often as I want. I mean, technically,
Nice.
Back when I was doing a little bit better financially, I would get 2 comics, one to read, one to bag and board.
But now you get
Really?
one to read and one to eat for dinner.
No.
Oh, okay.
Now I
you
just
eat the
get
one you
one
get
to
for-
bag and
Not
board.
sure.
But
One to eat.
if I want to read one of my comics, I'm going to open up and read it. So.
Yeah.
By the way, for anybody listening, Pete, when he eats his comic books, he's like Donald Duck in that Jack and the Giant Slayer cartoon where he's eating one bean and they're cutting it down.
Yeah, just
Wow,
very
dude,
tiny
how
slices.
old are you? What are you even talking about?
I was born in the 1930s. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, cool.
Which comics taste the best, do you think? Do you like
None. You should not eat comics.
Probably those black, white, and red anthologies. They're full of delicious
meaty,
nutrified blood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
protein. Yeah, exactly. Yum yum. I will get out some comics. It's more I get a hankering for a specific run, and then I'll go dive back in. So like once a month, I would say.
Schreckler says, who are your favorite New Yorkers? Schreckler's had this twice, so there has to be some bit there, and I'm not sure what it is.
I also
These
don't
are
know what it is.
two of my favorite right here.
That's nice. Yeah. I guess. Oh God, I wish Pete could experience New York City.
Oh my God, dude!
Because
Stop.
I think he would really.
Shout out to Langston. Shout out to Griggs.
Yeah.
Just naming
And,
fun New Yorkers.
Alex is shouting out Eric Adams as always.
Oh my God. Can't wait. I hope, apparently, Governor Hochul was meeting today to discuss his future, and fingers crossed it's very bright.
Yeah. She's not to talk about that, but there's no way she's gonna do that. She doesn't want that heat, and she doesn't have the political courage to get that done.
Anyway, we don't need to get into
Yeah,
New
we don't
York
need to talk about
politics
that.
here on our
We don't need to talk
comic
about
book show.
Yeah, let's not.
That's what you did, Schreckler. You almost made us get into it.
Oh, you almost
Hochul.
got us.
You made
Ooh.
Alex say Hochul on this podcast.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was Hochul, and then when I started calling your office, every time I'm like, oh, Hochul, interesting.
Wait, Schreckler has Pete said the other name that he's missing from the quiz is one of his favorite New Yorkers. That's the
okay. Just to wrap
Wait,
things
what
up
quiz?
here,
What?
your secret quiz.
Oh, he talking.
Ah, he did almost get you. Oh boy! Wow, classic Schreckler.
Pete,
Langston is not. No, Langston is not that picture.
Yeah,
over
but you
there.
didn't say that. Wow, Pete, sleep with a switch as a quizmaster.
Just to wrap things up here, Easy Reader says, I use the Marvel codes too. It makes it easier to read the books for me. So cool. Good to hear. And Stray Bullet was wondering, what are the Marvel codes in the print editions of Marvel Comics? They have a little sticker in the back that covers a code that you can use to redeem it digitally online. So you can have a digital copy as well as the print copy. That's basically it. It's a good program, but again, it's good to hear somebody uses it. So that's one. Marvel's got one. All right.
You got one, baby.
We're going to move on to our next section, which is trivia. And for that, we're going to turn it over to Pete LePage.
All right. This is the part we give back to you, the lovely audience. We really appreciate you listening and your support. So thank you so much.
Character for trivia.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to win $25 free to Midtown Comics online because you had $25. Why not get some comics? Am I right?
Yeah,
All we just need is a brave volunteer. Hey, I'll do it. Hey, David's in. All right,
There
thank
we
you,
go.
David.
All right. You ready, Pete?
Yes, I am. Today's trivia is about World War Hulk and a small nod to the legend Joan Plowright, R.I.P.
Hey, can you tell us one thing about that person before you dive into it? Because that sounds
She
like
was
a
an incredible actress. She's been in, the TV movie Driving Miss Daisy. She was Daisy. I mean, she's, you know what I mean? Like, she's been
in the
doing.
TV movie.
Yeah, she was Daisy and the driver, Nutty Professor style. It was wild.
Yeah, like, that's how good she is. Justin, I'm surprised you don't know who she is.
Yes.
As a classically trained actor, you should know her work. But after today's quiz, you'll know more.
Schreckler says, damn, Joan Plowright.
No, I don't think that's what he said.
Dame.
Damn.
Dame.
I don't
No,
think
there's
that's
an
what he
E at the
said.
end of the word, so it's like a hard A. It's damn.
Cool reading,
That is
right?
a hard A.
All right, please listen to goes off to you, David. Please listen to all three options before making your selection. We go. Question number 1. Everyone knows Greg Pak wrote this comic and John Romita Jr. penciled it, but who inked it? Is it A, Klaus Janson?
Knew this.
B,
I don't know what it is.
I don't care what is your name, Rich Dutch Cousin? C.
David says AAA.
All right, well, David, one at a time, please. There's jokes within.
Maybe that's just an enthusiastic endorsement.
Hey, damn.
Question number 2. What is the name of the title that ramped up to World War Hulk? Was it A, Planet Hulk, B, You're Killing Me, C, Smalls?
Says A.
A is correct.
Oh, nice. Crushing it again. Wow, I'm looking up Joan Plowright. She's quite a decorated actress.
Yeah, I'm really kind of surprised that you don't know who she is. I mean, you're supposed to have studied this shit.
David says A.
Yeah, you already said that. Yes, we're on to question
No.
number
He
3.
said this is the next day. This is for question
You
number
keep
3.
saying A, Pete.
Hey, David, it's good to see you. All right, question number 3. In WWH, the Hulk and Warbound transformed blank into a gladiator arena. Is it A, Madison Square Garden, B, You Killed It Just Right, C, Queen Latifah?
Oh, okay. I was looking for a pun there. A? Is it A?
A is correct, yes.
Wow. Congratulations, David. You're getting a $25 gift card to Midtown Comics. Shoot us an email and we'll get that to you. What secret
And our respect.
damn Joan Plowright movie are you teeing up, Pete?
I'm just happy that I snuck one by Scheuchler with the Queen Latifah before he said it. The 2003 comedy Bringing Down the House.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. What a great tribute to an incredible actor.
Dude, she was great in it. Tell me she wasn't. She was great in it.
Yes, she was in The Entertainer, Equus, Uncle Vanya, and then ended her career in Bringing Down the House and Fury.
Wow.
Dude, she was great in it.
Okay.
Yeah, no-
All right. Well, as we all know, tomorrow is New Comic Book Day. What are you guys looking forward to?
Man, a lot of great stuff coming out. Very much looking forward to Zatanna #1, Daredevil Unleashed Hell, Red Band #2, The New Gods #3, and Laura Kinney Wolverine #3.
Wow. What a series.
Justin, what about you?
Hey. And to not say G.I. Joe is shocking from Pete.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
I do love it's. I'm looking forward to that reading that as well.
I don't know what didn't make your list, and I'm disgusted and upset, I guess. So it's really hard for me to think about this. But I am looking forward to Thunderbolts Doomstrike #1 from Marvel Comics, focusing on a character that was a true bright spot in the Captain America movie, The Winter Soldier, Mr. James Bucky Buchanan. Also looking forward to Storm #5, a comic that I think has surprised us in a fantastic way and has been excellent through the first 4 issues. Looking forward to more. And there was one more. Oh, Alien versus Avengers.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This book is so
Looking
good.
forward to that.
It's striking, the writing and art is striking such a sort of melancholy dystopian tone.
Yeah.
And it's one of those books that each issue I'm like, I have no idea where this is going. It feels like it's touching, it's diving deep into a lot of alien history and mythology. At the same time, it's just telling a great sad Avengers story. Fantastic.
Couple that I'm interested to check out include, I'm very interested to check out Jenny Sparks #7, the final issue of the series, because every issue we've been talking about, it a lot depends on the finale here, so really curious to see how they wrap that up. Speaking of finales, House of Slaughter #30, I was very surprised to see that that's the final issue of the series. So
What?
Curious to check out that one too.
No!
And staying on the James Tynebed, calm
No!
down, Pete. Curious to check out Let This One Be a Devil #1, which is James Tynion IV, Steve Fox, and Piotr Kowalski, which is, they did the Blue Book stuff with Michael Avon Oming, which is alien stuff. This is focusing on the Jersey Devil, part of the True Weird line, and always interesting stuff. Pete, I will answer your questions later on because all of those books and many more are going to be on the stack Wednesday at 9
but I had
a.m.
a side question, man. You do news, so you might know this.
Yeah, what's up?
I've heard that House of Slaughter is ending, but there's other kind of stuff. Do you know, is other things starting, or is that it for the team? Or we'll have
That's
to wait?
it for the moment.
It's over.
Ooh, wow!
So we'll see.
I didn't know that.
And that's Wednesday, 9 a.m. in the Stack feed and also the Comic Book Club feed. And folks, that is it for this week's show. A couple of people we want to thank. We want to thank Chris, Doc, Wyatt, and Luke Arnold for coming on, for talking about Essentials, out tomorrow from Lab Press. Definitely pick that up. Next week on the show, we got a big one. Christopher Priest is going to be here to talk about Vampirella. Okay. And not a joke, not an imaginary story, Thomas Jane, the Punisher himself, is going to be here.
Way,
Pete does not believe.
Doesn't.
Pete is
you fooled me once.
Stressed, very stressed. Pete is stressed.
Back in the day, we told him that Thomas Jane had showed up, and we lied to him about it. This time, it is for real. Next week, Thomas Jane is going to be here.
They even sent a picture of them posing next to him.
Well, you're going to be posting
a Photoshop that we did that looked like shit, but you still believed it.
Yes. Anyway, Comic Book Club News, our comic book news podcast coming out daily. Podvincible, our Invincible podcast, recapping that weekly or semi-weekly. Marvel Vision, our Marvel podcast, recapping your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Patreon.com/Comic Book Club for this show and many more, all ad-free. ComicBookClubLive.com for this podcast and many more. Until next time, we'll see you at the Comic Book Club.
Take care of yourself.
So grab your grip and hammer. Don't be late for it, 'cause their girlfriends can barely tolerate it. Comic Book Club. Comic Book Club. Comic Book
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thanks, Lynn.
See you next week.
Thanks, everybody.